Om Shanti. 6th of February 2019, Wednesday. Today's blessing is, may you be free from temptation and remain beyond any attraction of the comforts of matter and become a conqueror of matter. May you be free from temptation and remain beyond any attraction of the comforts of matter and become a conqueror of matter. If any of the comforts of matter disturb your physical senses, that is, if you have any feeling of attraction, you will not be able to become detached. Desires are a form of attraction. Some say that they don't have any desires, but that they do find something to be good, acha. Not icha, but they feel they love something. This is also a subtle attraction. Check it in a subtle way as to whether the physical comfort, which is a means of temporary happiness, attracts you. That physical comfort is a facility of matter, and when you become free from its attraction and become detached, you will then become a conqueror of matter. So, there is a world of spirit and there is a world of matter, soul and body, or things of the body. So Baba says, if the comforts of matter, they disturb your physical senses, or if you have feeling of attraction towards them, if the spirit get attracted towards matter or things of matter, then it will not be able to remain detached. And desires are the form of attraction. And Baba is giving example that many say that they don't have any desire, but they love something. That is, they find it something good. That is icha and acha. But this feeling that, or finding something to be good, is also a certain attraction. So Baba is saying, check it in a subtle way as to whether the physical comfort, which is a means of temporary happiness, this physical comfort is a facility of matter, and when you become free from its attraction and become detached, you will then become a conqueror of matter. So all these physical things of the world, all the physical comforts, all the things that are coming from matter, soul has stayed with the matter for a very long time. So it has developed a subtle attraction for matter. And the goal of this life is this detachment. When the soul gets detached from matter, automatically power starts filling the soul. Soul has become powerless by too much attachment to this matter. So, if this is a soul and this is a body, the soul feels pleasure through all the senses. When these senses come in contact with physical things, physical objects, there is an attraction, and then soul feels temporary happiness. But this is not the permanent happiness. All the happiness that come from perishable objects is perishable. No happiness can remain imperishable that is coming from perishable objects. All the things of this world are perishable. This body is perishable. Objects of the body are perishable. Religions of the body are perishable. All the indulgence of the body are perishable. All the relationships of the body are perishable. So everything which is associated with body is perishable. So all the happiness that is coming from these perishable things cannot become eternal. So that's why Baba says, if you want eternal happiness, has to get detached from all of these things. And Baba is focusing on this subtle attachment. For example, this pen is there. I say I don't have any attachment to this pen, but I love this pen. I love this pen. But if suppose this pen is lost or is broken, then I feel pain. It means that I am attached to this. Even though outside I say I am not attached. So it is just an object. But this object creates attachment. I have a house. I say I am not attached to this house. But suddenly I see that the house is on fire. And before I could do anything, it has been reduced to ashes. I feel restless. So there is a deep attachment in our hearts to many things of this world. There is a relationship, A and B. A says, I am not attached to B at all, but I like B. I like to be in the company of B. B says, I am also not attached to A, but I love to be in the company of B. But the moment something happens to B, A is disturbed. The moment A finds B is going with somebody, A is disturbed. The moment A finds that B is loving somebody, A is disturbed. That means there was attachment. And wherever there will be attachment, there would be expectations. Lot of expectations from the person whom we are attached. And the more the expectations, the more the chances that they would not get fulfilled. And when my expectations are not fulfilled, I get all the more unhappy. So my unhappiness increases when I have so many expectations from others and they don't fulfill that expectation. So this is a circle. I love somebody, or I am attached to somebody. I love to be with him and I have expectations. Expectations don't get fulfilled, I get sorrowful. The more I get sorrow, I seek somebody else then. I don't want this person, I want another person. Then again the attachment, then again the expectations, and then again the sorrow. So this cycle goes on and on and on. So how to get rid of these desires or these attachments or these attractions of the world? Because anything we get attached to, it becomes difficult. A saint used to give example. There was a man who had a pet dog, and that man was very much attached to that pet dog. Wherever the man would go, the dog was always with him. The dog would play in his lap, would lick him, and always with him. One day, a monk, a sadhu, saw this man so much attached to that dog, and he said very bluntly that, why are you wasting your life on that dog? And this word hit him within, and he decided not to entertain that dog anymore. So there was a detachment in his heart, and suddenly he got detached from the dog. But then dog would still come to him all the time. Even though he was detached from dog, but dog would keep on coming to him every time, and he would again push it away. Again the dog would come. Again the man would push away. This went on, and then the man resorted to beating that dog. And after receiving many beatings, then the dog stopped coming. So our sanskars are also like that. Our attachments are also like that. I am attached to this pen, I give up this pen. Now I don't see, but now the pen is getting attached to me. Pen will come to me by some or other way. If I find that pen in somebody's hand, immediately the desire, I will have a thought that was mine. So, attachments are very subtle, very, very subtle. And all the objects to which we are attached, at some point or other, they are not going to stay, they are not going to persist. So, they will in turn cause me sorrow. So, it's a thing to ponder over our own attachments and make resolve that. Another thing is how to get rid of these attachments. Attachments to objects. By seeing their faults. By seeing their faults. What would be the ultimate result if I am attached to anything? Nothing. There was Alexander the Great, and when he was about to die, he made an announcement. He said that when I would die, keep my hands outstretched like this, out of that bier, out of that wherever I would be led, and they will take me, my procession, keep my hands like this. And people said, why? And he said, to show to the world that I came empty-handed, and in spite of conquering so many countries, I am going out of this world with empty hands. I have nothing with me whilst I go back. So, attachments. Studying attachments, knowing the defects of attachments, knowing what happens when I am too much attached, what is the mental stage when I am attached, how are my emotions when I am attached, and there is always a fear whenever I am attached. I am attached to this duster, I have a fear that this duster should not get broken. This blessing is about attachment to objects and things. Usually Baba talks about attachment to people, but this blessing is on attachment to physical things, physical objects, facilities, and so on. So knowing the defect. For example, a man comes home and finds that his house is on fire. And he starts crying and crying and crying and screaming and shouting, and people are trying to extinguish the fire, but the fire is too much. It's inextinguishable. It has already taken into itself entire house. So man is crying loudly, and then suddenly his son comes and says, why are you crying? The father says, don't you see our house is burning? He says, don't worry father, yesterday night only I sold it to somebody. Yesterday night only I sold it to somebody. The father says, yes, really? And his tears are gone. The house is still burning, but now he is no more crying. House is burning, but he is not crying. Why? Because it is not mine anymore. So he wipes all his tears and is seeing, but the house is still burning. After some time, the second son comes and he says, Father, don't you see our house is burning? The father says, don't worry, your younger brother has already sold the house. This brother says, though he has sold the house, but we have yet not received the money. It is only an agreement. So father says, really? And he starts crying again. The house is burning and father is crying. He was crying before, and when he received the news that it was sold, crying stopped. Now he has received the news that it is sold, but money is not received, so he is crying again. After some time, the younger son comes, youngest, and he says, Father, why are you crying? He says, though we have sold the house, but we have not received the money. And it was only an agreement. The youngest son says, don't worry, the one who purchased the house, he is true to his words. No matter, even if the house is burnt, He is going to purchase it. Again the father wipes the tears. The house is still burning. No. Was it related to burning of house or something else? It was related to internal attachment. It was this my house. It is my house. When it becomes somebody else's house, I am no more affected. Let it burn. Let it anything happen to it. So the cause of unhappiness or tears is not the house. It is the feeling of mine. For example, a mother is there and her child, her son, has not returned from school. She is worried, she is anxious, angst-ridden. She goes out asking everybody, what happened, why my son has not come back. The school got over at 2 o'clock, now it is 4 o'clock, still now my son has not come back from school. And she keeps on asking everybody, have you seen a boy of this much age wearing this clothes? Many say, no. And then one man says, yes, I have seen this boy. Recently an accident has taken place. And whatever you described, the same applies to the boy who met with an accident. Just go there, rush. And she rushes. And there is a crowd. And there is a boy wearing same clothes, same uniform, school uniform, of the same age. So she is so fearful, so anxious, so full of grief within, that she just rushes, crying madly with insanity. And she goes, pushes off the crowd, and sees there is a child lying down, bleeding, almost dead. But the moment she sees that child, she says, it's not mine. It's not my child. But the child is there. Somebody else is now, who is bleeding, who has met with an accident. And she was fearful, frenzied, furious as if. But the moment she sees a child, and she realized, this is not my child. And her fear, her anxiety, her frenzy, everything is gone. So what is the cause of unhappiness? Was it the child? No. It's my child. People say that my father should come in Gyan, my mother should come in Gyan, my brother should come in Gyan, my brother has become drunkard and I am in Gyan. What should I do to make him come in Gyan? I am so worried about him. Why are you worried about him? There are so many people who drink. You are not worried about them. Why are you worried about only one person? In one of the Avyakta Murlis, Baba said, you never said that open the intellect of India. You always said that open the intellect of my husband. He is not in Gyan. Why you never said open the intellect of entire India? So it's not about people, it's about our attachment to them. The more we are attached to people, it is the feeling of possessiveness, my, that creates the problem. Not the things, not the objects. And when this I is taken out, then there is no cause of fear, there is no cause of anxiety, there is no cause of unhappiness. So, what are the things and what are the objects we are attached to? One must think deeply on these issues. What are those things I am attached to? The things of the objects of attachment could be as small as possible, like pen, bedsheet, clothes, comb, anything. 84 types of attachments. We had made a huge list once upon a time. So, it could be anything. So, how to get rid of these subtle attachments. What should we do? Baba is saying, if any of the comforts of matter disturb your physical senses, and that is if you have any feeling of attraction, you will not able to become detached. Desires are a form of attraction. Some say that they do not have any desires, ichha, but they do find something to be good, acha. So they don't have ichha, but they find it acha. So this acha is also a subtle attachment, asakti. This acha is quite dangerous. Check it in a subtle way as to whether the physical comforts, which is a means of temporary happiness. All happiness that is coming from objects are temporary. Very good food to eat. You eat. After some time, what? Nothing. Once it passes through this, what taste it has got? Nothing. Come to hospital and see. The people have got Ryle's tube here. They can't eat. So we feed from here. Ask them what is the taste of ice cream. They have no taste. But they are alive. So this is a very important question to ask. Are we eating to live or living to eat? This slavery to taste is one of the greatest slavery. So check it in the subtle way. All the temporary, all the happiness which is coming from objects is temporary happiness. All objects of this world. Today they are there, tomorrow they will not be there. All the facilities of science. Today we have heater, tomorrow we may not have heater. Today we have fan, tomorrow we may not have fan. All these are just for using, but then we should not become dependent on them. When they are there, it's fine. When they are not there, then only we should be okay. Then, but the people say, I love tea, but I am not attached to it. I am not addicted to it. It is the same like an alcoholic who says, I drink alcohol, but I am not addicted. No alcoholic is ready to accept that he is addicted. Every alcoholic and every smoker says, I smoke, but it is okay. If it is not there, then only no problem. But have you ever tried going without it for 3 days? You say that I am not attached to tea, but then try going without tea for 3 days then. You will find inner restlessness. Tea is also an addiction, a sort of addiction. It contains caffeine and all those things. They get attached because addiction is created. Addiction is not physical, it is psychological. Some hormones, some physical chemicals are released. The moment why a person smokes, I smoke, and then some neurotransmitters are released and they give me pleasurable feeling in the body. And when I don't smoke, I miss that pleasure feeling. And whenever there is a stress, person goes back to smoking. Whenever one drinks, there is nothing in that drink. But the moment I drink that, chemicals are released from brain. And they give me whole body is relaxed. So this creates addiction. In the similar manner, all these things, beverages, they also create addiction. Because the moment you drink them, some chemicals are released from here. And those chemicals make you addict. So all the objects, whether it is food, whether they are comforts, anything, when I start using that every day, I get addicted. Somebody is sleeping on the floor for many years. He has no problem. But then he is provided a very beautiful bed. After sleeping for 10 days on this bed, now he doesn't like to sleep on the floor. Because he is addicted here. So that's why one should keep on checking our own attractions and find out the faults, the failings, the misperfections in attachments, and how when I am attached I get disturbed. Why I am not very much stable when I am attached? Because attachment causes disturbance, subtle disturbances. Because there is always a fear that I will lose that attachment, I will lose that thing. and it should always stay with me. And there is a fear that somebody should not snatch away that. That's why Baba is saying, remove this acha business. This ichha and acha, these both are dangerous things. So, physical attachments is a facility of matter, and when you become free from its attraction and become detached, you then become the conqueror of matter. So there is an eternal battle between spirit and matter. Chetana, consciousness and matter. Jad. So there is a battle. So this should win. Spirit should win over matter. Matter should not win over spirit. Spirit is more powerful than matter, not the matter powerful than spirit. So become the conqueror of matter. Okay. Om Shanti.